Welcome back to Cinematic Cravings. X-Men is finally joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yes, the moment we've been waiting for all these years is finally approaching. As a generation that grew up with Fox's X-Men movies, we can't wait to see them inside the MCU. But this won't be just another X-Men film. Marvel is making them a part of a major event, one that will completely change the future of the MCU. So, what do we know about the new X-Men movie? Let's break down how mutants will be introduced into the MCU, who might be in the cast, and when the film could be released. But before we dive into the details, I know most of you have already watched and moved on, but subscribing and liking are free. Come on, let's be generous. Subscribe to the channel and like the video so we can grow together. Now, let's get started. First, let's look at what Kevin Feige has said. Marvel Studios President Feige mentioned in an interview that X-Men will be at the center of Marvel's big post-Secret Wars plans. That means we'll be seeing them in Phase 7 of the MCU, after the multiverse saga. This confirms that Marvel is planning a massive reboot for the X-Men. The introduction of Deadpool and Wolverine into the MCU, Beast appearing in the Marvel's post-credit scene, and Miss Marvel being revealed as a mutant were all clues leading to this moment. Now, what about the cast? There's no official confirmation yet, but some strong rumors are circulating. Sadie Sink, Stranger Things, as Jean Grey, Harris Dickinson, Baby Girl, as Cyclops, and Julia Butters, Once Upon a Time, in Hollywood, as Kitty Pryde, are reportedly being considered for the MCU. However, nothing is set in stone yet, so it's best not to get too excited. But if these names turn out to be true, Marvel could be assembling a younger X-Men team. What about the X-Men story? That's the biggest mystery, because up until now, mutants have not existed in the MCU. So Marvel will have to explain why they're appearing now. There are two possible scenarios. One, the X-Men already exist in another universe and will arrive in the MCU after Secret Wars. Two, mutants have always existed in the MCU, but their presence was hidden until now. The post-credit scene of the Marvels showed Beast existing in a different universe, which strongly suggests that the multiverse will play a key role in bringing X-Men into the MCU. And of course, the big question: when will the X-Men movie be released? Right now, there's no official announcement, but we do know that Secret Wars is set to release in 2027. Marvel currently has 2 open movie slots in July and November 2027. That means the X-Men movie could arrive in late 2027 or early 2028. But one thing is certain: X-Men will be one of Marvel's biggest projects and will leave a lasting impact on fans for years to come. Now, let's get to the biggest question. How will the X-Men movie be positioned within the Marvel Cinematic Universe? The MCU's X-Men will be completely different from Fox's previous films. A new cast, a new story, and a fully revamped universe await us. Marvel wants to directly connect the X-Men to the Avengers and integrate these characters into the main MCU after Secret Wars. That's why seeing how the X-Men team emerges in the Marvel Universe is going to be absolutely incredible. What impact will Secret Wars have on the X-Men? As you know, Avengers Secret Wars will bring massive changes to the Marvel Universe. In the comics, Secret Wars causes different universes to collide, creating a brand new reality. If the MCU follows this path, it's possible that the X-Men and mutants will arrive from another universe and merge into the main one. This would allow Marvel to introduce mutants into the MCU in a logical way. But will we get to see all the X-Men characters in a single movie after Secret Wars? At this point, Marvel is taking a huge gamble. Who will be the new leader of the X-Men? In the comics, Professor X has always been the leader and guide for mutants. However, there are theories suggesting that Marvel Studios might choose a different leader this time. In the new X-Men films, Cyclops is expected to play a more central role. Since the MCU could introduce mutants as a younger team, Cyclops may take the lead. Also, Wolverine is almost guaranteed to have a major role in these films. Whether Hugh Jackman will return remains uncertain, but it seems inevitable that Marvel will cast a new Logan. Will we see Gambit, Storm, and Nightcrawler? So far, the most discussed characters have been Jean Grey, Cyclops, and Kitty Pryde. However, fans are eager to see iconic X-Men members like Gambit, Storm, and Nightcrawler in the film as well. The MCU may want to diversify the X-Men lineup to showcase mutants from different backgrounds, which makes the early introduction of a strong character like Storm very likely. Storm's connection to the Black Panther universe also makes her a significant character within the MCU. Finally, let's talk about the existing mutant characters in the MCU. Even though the X-Men haven't been officially introduced yet, the MCU already has several mutants. Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, was revealed to be a mutant. Namor was confirmed as a mutant in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Beast appeared in the Marvels, and Deadpool and Wolverine has become the biggest project to bring mutant characters into the MCU. So, in reality, the MCU has been slowly laying the groundwork for the X-Men. One of the biggest questions Marvel faces while building the X-Men universe is deciding who their first major villain will be. In Fox's old X-Men films, Magneto was always portrayed as the primary threat. However, the MCU might take a different approach and introduce a larger, more cosmic-level villain. Names like Mr. Sinister, Apocalypse, or Bastion have been rumored as potential threats that could make the X-Men's introduction into the MCU feel even bigger. Additionally, if there's a post-Secret Wars restructuring, we might see a completely different version of Magneto. Once the X-Men officially enter the Marvel Universe, one of the biggest debates will be, will the X-Men be allies or enemies of the Avengers? In the comics, the Avengers and X-Men have clashed multiple times. One of the most famous examples is the Avengers vs. X-Men storyline. If Marvel Studios plans to adapt this arc for the big screen, the relationship between mutants and the Avengers in the MCU will be a huge question mark. Additionally, after Deadpool and Wolverine, fans are curious about how Deadpool will act as a bridge between the X-Men and Avengers. So far, leaks suggest that Marvel Studios is aiming to keep the X-Men team close to its classic comic book lineup. It's highly likely that the new team will include Jean Grey, Cyclops, Storm, Beast, Rogue, Nightcrawler, and Iceman. Also, since Ms. Marvel has already been introduced as a mutant, she could be added to the team as well. Will the X-Men and Fantastic Four cross paths? After Secret Wars, mutants and other major Marvel teams will exist in the same universe, making it very possible for X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Avengers to appear in the same movies. One of the MCU's biggest plans right now is to reset everything with Secret Wars and officially integrate the X-Men into the main universe. With Deadpool and Wolverine opening up the multiverse, it could make it easier for the X-Men to enter the MCU from another reality. Additionally, Doctor Strange and Clea's Dark Dimensions adventure might also help pave the way for mutants to arrive. It's clear that X-Men will be one of the biggest focal points of the MCU's future because Marvel is now preparing to shape its next big saga around mutants. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has seen its biggest decline since Endgame. A new era will begin after Secret Wars, and the X-Men will be the most important players in it. Especially after the loss of main characters like Iron Man and Captain America, Marvel needs mutants to reignite fan excitement. In the comics, the X-Men have always been one of Marvel's most popular teams. So can Marvel regain its former power through them? This will be one of the biggest questions that defines the future of the MCU. So how would you like to see the X-Men introduced into the MCU? Should classic characters like Jean Grey and Cyclops return? Or should we see an entirely new team? Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. And for more Marvel updates, subscribe to the channel and like the video. See you in the next one.